back to Julie's Wreath Boutique. I have an order for this wreath, and instead of just making it and shipping it out, I kind of figured what was one of the most asked questions I get about making flower wreaths. And the most questions I get is, why do you use zip ties and then use pipe cleaners sometimes? So I'm going to demonstrate the difference tonight. This wreath is going to use pipe cleaners, and I'm going to show you why it uses pipe cleaners. So we're just going to make a simple sunflower wreath. This was a wreath that literally put my business on the map. It went viral on Facebook years ago, and it landed me in goodhousekeeping.com and Country Sampler magazine with a wreath and stuff. So this is kind of like the wreath that started it all for me, so to speak. But I have an original video, but I kind of tried to explain it in a way that you're not going to flatten any of your petals. So we're going to get started. I've already cut one roll of 10-inch poly burlap. That's what you see right here. And I also cut 5 pieces of the olive green 10-inch poly burlap. And I cut them at 11 inches, and that's my leaf. I want my leaf to kind of pop out just a little bit. And you're going to need some pipe cleaners. We're going to start out on my trusty 10-inch wire wreath frame. I get these from consumercrafts.com. They're like $1.57 a frame. They're very sturdy, and honestly, this is the way to make a wreath. If you want to save money, if you want to make money, you got to think about what you put in your wreath and how much you spend in making a wreath. So let's talk about our wreath. Okay, so we're going to talk about the frame. This is a 10-inch frame, and it has 5 sections. A 12-inch frame would have 6, and so on and so on. So basically what I want you to think of, that each section has certain placements for your petals. So we're going to put the first set of petals on this outside bracket right here. And that's going to be where all of your outside leaf and petals are going to be. So the next spot that you're going to go is the middle bracket. So if you put a leaf and 2 petals here, we're going to put 2 petals right here. And then the third spot is going to be the inside of that bracket. So originally you had 2 petals and a leaf here, and eventually you'll have 2 petals right here. So that would be the inside spot. So what I do is I take my pipe cleaner, and I simply, and I'm going to try to show this to you as easy as I can do, I take the bottom pipe cleaner and I will wrap it around that frame, okay? So that when we have our petal, it's going to lay in between this frame, part of the frame, and this part of the frame, and that's not going to go anywhere, okay? So what do I do first? Well, I'm going to take the green leaf, and it's the curl side up. I'm going to meet in the middle, and then I'm just going to simply gather it. I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm just going to lay it in that pipe cleaner and just twist it about 1 time. That's it, okay? Step 2, I'm going to take a yellow piece. Now these were all cut at 10 inches a piece. One of the reasons why I do like the 10-inch frame is that I can use 1 roll of poly burlap will make me a beautiful sunflower. So we're going to do the same method that we did with the green, and we're just going to gather it, flip it over, and place it right in the middle of that pipe cleaner, and I'm just going to twist it once, okay? I'm not going to untie anything. I'm just going to keep putting them on top of each other and just do 1 twist, all right? Let's do 1 more. Okay, 1 twist. Now, I've got my 2 petals on top of my leaf, so now I'm going to take my 2 ends and I'm going to wrap it around this center bar in front of it. So I'm going to turn it over here and just show you. I'm not going to pull too much. I could pull it all the way and then my petal would be like this. I don't want my petal like that. I just want to pull it enough and twist it enough so that it gives a little bit of dimension to my petal. That's it. I'm not going to make it go too forward that it just goes up like that. Then you've got a problem. Your flower is too tight there. So there still has to be a little bit of give. Okay, so I've got this outside petal. Now I'm going to do the next outside petal so that I can do my backtrack method, and I'll show you that in a moment. So let's go ahead and put our pipe cleaner. Again, I'm going to wrap that pipe cleaner around that outer rim here. Get a green piece. Place it in the pipe cleaner. Okay. Get another piece. Got too much here in front of me. And we're going to do the same thing that we just did, okay? So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to just twist it once. That's it. I did cut all of this with a wood burner, and I will leave the link below on how to easily and simply cut poly burlap with a wood burner. That's it. So I'm going to just connect it to that front bracket there, just to kind of give it a little bit of definition, okay? And then you're just going to twist it. All right, so this is my backtrack method. Originally, when I taught this video, we would do all of the outside, then we would do all of the middle, and then we would do all of the inside of the bracket. This is the backtrack method, and this method, let me move some of this out of the way here. This method will allow you not to go back and work over top of this. And what I have figured out is by not doing that, working over top of this, your flower petals are in much better condition by the time you're done with it. So I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and I'm going to wrap it around that middle section. Do you see what I did? These two bars, I'm going to take one pipe cleaner and wrap around. And now I've got a nice spot for my two petals. We have no leaves now. So let's just take two petals and place it. 1, 2. All right. Okay, so what do we do now? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to attach it. I always tell you to go forward. And because we don't have a crossbar, we're going to use this front bar in front of it. So all I'm going to do is take my wire, or my pipe cleaners, not my wires. So one's on both sides of that inside wire. And I'm just going to bring it and just twist it just a little bit. And you can even wrap it around the frame there. Okay, see how we're getting some dimension? So what are we going to do next? We're going to do this outside, and then I'm going to do this middle, and then I'm going to come back and do the inside. So I'm going to show you that when I come right back. Okay, so I added 2 more sets of petals, and I did the same thing. Let me get a regular frame here. We did the outside, the middle, the outside, the middle, and now we're going to go back and do the inside of these two, because once you have 2 middles done, then you have a spot for the inside, okay? And that's what I have right now. So what I'm going to do is the same thing, is I'm just going to take a pipe cleaner, and this is what's different than the zip ties, because I'm layering the petals, okay? So if you can see right here, I put it just around that inside frame, okay? So we're going to take 2 of our 10-inch poly burlap pieces and make 2 petals and just lay them in here. Okay, so at this point, you know, your petals are going to be sticking up. So they're not going to be laying flat. So let's take one more. So I just put it in there and did 1 twist. And now I'm going to put another one. So what do I do now? I'm going to take these 2 pipe cleaners and I'm just going to take it back underneath. I hope you can see this. And I'm going to twist it. I'm not going to pull it too tight. This is one of the mistakes that people make, is that they pull it a little too tight, okay? I'm trying to see the camera and my hands at the same time, so excuse me for a moment. Oh, okay. So we're just going to stick those in there, and I will go through and I will clip all the extra little ends from our pipe cleaner. But that, see, mine is up a little bit too far, but that's okay. I'm going to kind of bend it back. Okay. But then that way you're starting your petals, and I'm not going to go back over and do the middle and then do the inside and risk laying my hands on it, okay? So I'm just going to, and I like to kind of move these around. So now that we're to this part, I'm going to go back to the outside and do this. Set right here, do a middle, and then do the inside. And then I'll go back to the outside, the middle, and then the inside. And once I get over here, I just have a middle and then 2 insides to do. And that's your basic sunflower wreath. So I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do for the middle. Okay, so I've got my petals on my wreath. Now listen, when you make this type of wreath, your petals are not going to look just ready to hang on the door. We're going to need to kind of adjust them and make them look more cohesive. So what am I going to do for the middle is this method that I do. I call it my seated center, and I have a whole tutorial on just this center, and I will link it in the description box below. And I always get asked, what do you put in the middle of your wreath frames? And this is just plastic canvas. It's very bendable. It's the 5 mesh, and that's what makes it so bendable, because the squares are much bigger than maybe something like a 7 mesh. But this is what I do, is I just took my wreath frame, and I just did an outline of the inside of the frame, and I cut it out. I didn't do the outside of the inside wire because you really don't need that big of a circle. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to just take our plastic canvas, and I got a package of this. This is Faux Jute tubing, and you get 30 yards, I believe, in a package from like thewreathshop.com or craftoutlet.com. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand like this, and I am just going to wrap it. Let's see, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 times, okay? And then I'm going to take it in the middle, right here. You see that? And I'm going to take a zip tie. I'm going to pick up my plastic canvas, and I'm going to take the zip tie underneath, and I'm going to start in the middle, or close to the middle. And all I'm going to do is just repeat this step over and over. So like, I didn't get that quite halfway. So now I have my first step. So I'm going to take my tubing, and it does get a little twisted, and I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? And I'm going to grab it in the middle. And so this time I'm going to go behind it. I'm going to go behind one of these loops because I want them going in all different directions. So all you're going to do is you're going to keep repeating this process. And what I like to do is I start in the middle, and I work my way around the middle and then to the sides, and then finish it out. And sometimes I might have to trim a little bit of this, but you just want a nice rounded center. So do you see how I'm going there? So I'm going to do it one more time, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like at the end. So 1, 2, see how it gets a little twisted? You're going to have to work with it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. and then take it. So now I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it around the back of this one, so that it's just naturally pushing all the loops up. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I fill this whole plastic canvas. I'll use probably about 20 yards of the 30 and not quite the whole package. I mean, you can make a bigger center if you'd like, but you really shouldn't need to for a 10-inch wreath frame. Okay, so I'm just going to keep doing that and I'll be right back. So as you can see, I have filled this up pretty nicely, and when I look at it, I kind of feel like there should be one more just right there. So I'm going to just add one more. And as you can see, this is the end. The package comes with 3 of these in it. And so this is the end of the 2. So I'm just going to wrap my hand several times like I showed you before. And just take it, and I'm going to, oh, I need a zip tie. Where did they go? I'm just going to take it, and this will be the last one I add. And then we will attach this to our wreath. And this is how I get the look of the seated center. Okay. And then you're just going to cut off all your little zip tie tag-alongs here. I like the sunflower wreath. I feel like the sunflower wreath is like a wreath that would be good for all year long. And so you can see one of my ends is sticking out there. So I'm just going to take my scissors and clip that. And clip that. So as you can see on the back of it, it's not like totally centered this around it, but you just want a nice rounded center. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take 2 8-inch zip ties, and I'm going to slip one in on this side and one on the opposite side. Okay, get this out of the way. I'm going to take our center and run this down here, and I'm just going to like move my petals gently. I don't want to tear anything or put a run in the poly burlap. So I have my hand there, and I'm going to just simply flip it over, and I still have my hand holding it because I don't really want to lay my wreath down flat on the surface of my table here. So I just connected it to the opposite ends of the wreath frame, and so if you need to put it down, just kind of hold it up a little bit like I am doing right now. You don't want to push this down. That's my point. So I'm going to just pull this a little bit, and we're going to flip it over. And I think that looks cute. So at the end, this still isn't the way I really want it. Kind of can't see everything. So what you're going to do is you're just going to adjust your petals a little bit. So first of all, I can't even say that right. First off, I'm going to just kind of pull 2 of the petals together at the same time. And I'm just going to go around. And you can do this if you order a wreath from somebody and it's a flower like this. You can go through. Don't be afraid to just kind of, separate the petals a little bit so that it can just bring out the beauty and the fullness of it. And that's all you're going to do. So at this point, I'm just going to keep doing this a little bit more, and my flower will be ready for my customer. I will cover the back of it, and all I do is take a piece of felt that I have traced out. This one is going to be brown, and I will attach it with zip ties on the back of my wreath, and I will link another video of how I do that really simply down in the description box below. But I just wanted to show you how I did this, because that's the big question I get asked, is why is there a difference between pipe cleaners and zip ties? And this is kind of the difference. This is a different petal. It lays different. It has a lot of volume in it, and that is the difference. So when I tend to use the zip ties, it's a little bit flatter of a wreath. It might be just, it's a different petal, just a different way to lay it onto the wreath form. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know down below any ideas that you would like to see made on this channel. Make sure to like and hit that subscribe button, and leave me a sunflower down below if you made it all the way through. I appreciate your time, and your views are so much appreciated. So have a wonderful evening or day or morning or wherever you are, and we'll catch you next time on Julie's Wreath Boutique.